look at that beautiful cerulean coloring, complete with golden inlays and just a touch of class. As you can see, this beautiful water-type Pokemon will pair quite nicely with your Wailord deck, and I think will be very formidable. You. Yeah, you. Come here. I've seen you walking around the store here for about 10 minutes or so. Can I help you? You seem just a bit lost. Alright. You are looking for help with a deck. Now, do you need a deck built here? Because you're going to need to go see that gentleman over there, or do you need help with a pre-existing deck? Pre-existing, well, you've stumbled into the right place then. I'm just the guy for that. So I see you do have a deck there in your hand. Do you care if I take a look? So if you don't mind, I'll take just a quick look at the deck you have there with you. Yep, just go ahead and give that to me here. And there we are. No, that's okay. So we do have a nice, looks like Plasma Freeze, if I'm not mistaken, pre-release deck box here. Is that correct? You don't know. How do you not know what the deck box you are using is from? Okay, so this deck was given to you by a friend. All right. Well, that makes a bit more sense of why you don't seem to know the first thing about it, but not a problem. I am a master of these things, and I can show you a little bit about what you've brought today. Have you seen the cards inside at least? Alright, so you have taken a quick peek, but how recently were you given these cards by your friend? Last week. Okay, so you are rather inexperienced with the cards here in this deck. Perfect, that's not a problem. I don't mind selling or doing business with someone who is completely clueless. That's not a problem. But, okay, let's go ahead and pop these open and let's see what you've brought, and I can then get started with the consultation here of sorts. Alright, here is your empty box. And we'll set that right to the side there. Alright, so let's see what we have. Unsleeved, I see. Quite the Neanderthal of card care, but don't mind my tapping, and overall handling of your cards won't hurt. I am an expert after all, so, but unfortunately I am afraid it is quite condemning of you that you haven't brought these in a proper case. But nonetheless, even without the properly aforementioned card sleeves, I think we can help you out here. As you said, you have looked briefly at these cards, so I'm sure you are aware that what you've brought me today is what seems to be a Wailord deck. I am only assuming that this is built around the wonderful water-type Wailord, because it would be quite foolish to have a lot of other evolutions in this deck, for it might be rather hard to play accurately, but we'll see what you have. As you can see, this Wailord is quite the beaut when it comes to design. That classic black and white era holofoil, the horizontal line patterns there. So it's a beautiful card. I must say that you have inherited quite the nice looking set of water type cards here. So we do have a Wailord there. Of course, I'll separate these cards out just to get a quick idea of what we do have here to work with. And okay, that's interesting. We do have a Vanillish, and it is a reverse holo, as you see. So, okay, and there is the Vanillite. I'll go ahead and make room for the assumed Whalmer. And there it is, that Whalmer there. So as I can see, you do have 3 separate sets that this is from, all within the black and white era, but still I can see that this is a custom constructed deck, no doubt constructed at home based on how poorly it would most likely play, but that's not a problem. I've worked with. Okay, now this is very interesting. We do have our second heavy hitting holofoil, this time in the form of a Vanillix. That is quite the nice looking card. I do really appreciate that shine on that Vanillix, and it does make Vanillix look rather intimidating, which is nice. But like I said, this deck might be rather hard to play due to the abundance of Pokemon cards that we have already seen. Here's a nice reverse holo Vanillix. We'll place that underneath your other Vanillix because it is not near as beautiful. And strangely enough, we do have a Clefable. So these are prizes, and a Clefairy, of course. Continue to pour out and look at that. A Seismitoad Plasma, Team Plasma version there, as you can see with that Team Plasma seal. So there it is. A rather bold choice to have a full evolutionary line of Seismitoad there, but at this point I've given up hope that this would be an effectively used deck. We do have our string of trainers here, and Pokemon Tool. We have Rocky Helmet for a bit of quick damage on the opponent. Alright, so this is quite the, and you have 2 different versions of Vanillish, how cute, and Vanillite. Alright, so we do have on our hands quite the strange deck, but I must commend you. Quite the interesting deck as well, and another holofoil Vanillix. It does have at least quite the shine. We've had at least 2 reverse holos and several full holofoils, so I can commend you for your sense of style. 3 Seismitoad. That is impressively dumb. But, and there is our second Clefable, and 2 variations of Timpole. That's, wait a minute. That is 3 variations of Timpole. That is very interesting. And another Wailord, a third Clefable, a reverse holo Team Plasma Ball, and for God's sakes, and yes, there it is, the final end of the deck. So would you behold that? That is quite the deck, and well, I must say this is slightly beyond my skills, even as a master. I'm not sure that I can make this deck much more effective or smart in the terms of how it's played. I'll say this, I do like your 2 ace holofoil Pokemon. They do look beautiful together and have quite the nice holofoil design, but I can't recommend playing all of these, especially the Seismitoad line. This seems like it could have been cut out completely. So if you are looking for my expert advice, I would suggest replacing these 3 Seismitoad at the bare minimum, and I think I can help you with that, of course, with a few purchases in mind. So we do have, it says Water Cannon. Flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 30 damage times the amount of water energy attached to this Pokemon. So with a single water energy required there, I'm assuming that's some kind of strategy you've built. Let's take a look at this Vanillix Slippery Slope. Once during your turn, you may switch your active Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. Okay, so it's just a quick switch. Let's see what Moon Guardian remove guidance from your Clefable does. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If head, search your deck for a card that evolves from one of the Pokemon and put it onto that Pokemon. So just a simple way of attaching energy. So I don't see an easy way of getting water energy onto that Wailord. I see a way of finding your Wailord or Vanillux and then switching, but it still doesn't make a lot of sense. But would you be interested in my expert reconstruction of this deck? Like I said, I think we can start by simply removing these 3 Seismitoad and then adding a couple additional cards that would fit this deck much better. And we can also give this just a little bit of a makeover and provide you with a better deck box, some proper damage counters. I see you have none here. Do you have any with you? Of course you don't. This was a gifted deck. Is this, let me ask you a few things. Is this the only set of Pokemon cards you have in your collection? And how overall familiar are you with the Pokemon card game in general? Not at all. All right, so now we're getting somewhere. So let me just run a quick test on you here. Let's see where I had that. Okay, yeah, here we go. All right, I'm going to, just bear with me, see if I can show you something here. If you don't mind me to just crush your cards there and take a quick look. Alright, so if I was just to, since you seem to not have the, as you've so kindly admitted, the vastest knowledge of Pokemon cards, of course, I'm sure you are still very smart and know quite a bit, so enough that if I showed you this water energy, you would, of course, know that this is a water energy, right? Of course you do. Excellent. What else would it be? You're right. And this, of course, is a, bug type card, right? Excellent. I was right. You are quite smart. All right. And if I showed you something like, well, this very rare card, you would, of course, recognize this as part of the Plasma Freeze set, correct? Perfect. I thought so. All right. That's all I need to know. Let me set that to the side. So if you're okay, and come in here just a bit closer, are you okay with perhaps having a deck that's a bit overpowered? Right, yeah, like barely can be beaten at all. Perhaps might even require someone to have an overpowered, if not even an illegal card in order to beat you. I don't want to put you in a position that's uncomfortable for being too powerful, but I can offer you a limited time opportunity. We do have 3 rare cards that have come in. Perfect. I thought you looked like someone who wasn't afraid to wield ultimate power. I love it. All right. Well, now what you're going to have to do is when I give you these cards, you're going to have to pay quickly and leave discreetly. Don't tell anyone what you've purchased, and just play them in your deck against other people that perhaps don't know that much about the card game either, and I think you'll see what I mean with the results. Excellent. All right, let me grab those cards for you. I don't think you'll be disappointed, but I will have to swap out these Seismitoad, of course, like I said, and I'll just place them in your original deck box since, of course, you are interested in just a bit of a makeover for your deck. And of course, with that said, please come forward one more time. Are you okay with having a pristine, if not extremely sought after type of deck? Okay, something that is a little bit over the top, but just, all the pomps and frills. Perfect. Okay. I think I can get you taken care of. So let's get those cards first. You are going to love these. Once again, keep this between you and I, but we have some new arrivals. Special edition. Some would even say unreleased. So, there we go. And where was that? There it is. Alright, my friend. We won't be needing any additional cards once these are used. And I don't know how we got so lucky on this, but these cards here, yes, they are sleeved already due to the immense rarity, and well, I can't risk these being damaged, but I think you're in luck. I don't know how we managed this, but these will actually play perfectly with a Wailord and Vanillux set up deck. Now, I know not a lot of people play a deck like this, but someone like you just might, and I don't know if it's just sheer luck or if you just perhaps a little bit clairvoyant or something like that, but you've somehow brought in a deck that is perfectly situated for these three cards. So without further ado, as you can see, these are going to be quite powerful. Don't let anyone else see. Behold. Like I said, special edition, unreleased. Yes, they do look a little bit different, but you're not afraid to use perhaps some unreleased sets that your friends might not see, well, ever. I thought not. So, this is the new design. I think the Pokemon Company is coming out with this, in the near future. I wouldn't hold your breath, but I think they will become available for the general public, at some point next year. But these cards, as you can see, it is rookie level, which is a new level in the new cards. It is, Gabumon. Gabumon is, well, a powerful water type. They are really only, this set of cards is only really meant for the most experienced trainers. Of course, yeah, you can see a good look at that, but they're only meant for the more experienced and veteran players, so that's why they don't list as much of the basics and simpleton jargon such as type, set, anything, other types of things related to the rest of the cards. But as you can see, they have the normal fire, grass, electric symbols down there, and they really just have everything you're going to need to win, which is really all you need to worry about. Of course, they have the traditional back on there. There's nothing changed there. And of course, I cannot take these out of the sleeves. It's too dangerous to damage such a expensive Pokemon card. I wouldn't want to have to charge you immediately at an exorbitant rate for damaging them just from removing them from the sleeve. But that shouldn't sway you from purchasing. So Gabumon will actually, you don't need to even worry about the attacks. I'll go ahead and explain those to you. Gabumon actually has a move that allows it to immediately place any water energies that you have in your hand directly onto Wailord. For some reason, it's only designed to exclusively work with Wailord. It actually doesn't have any other attacks. You just play this simply during your, turn in your active slot, or you can use it as a supporter card, whatever works for you. And then it allows you to just place any water Pokemon or water energies from your hand. For example, I could have Wailord as my active Pokemon. I place Gabumon down. I say go Gabumon, of course, as one would do, and then I would just place my water energies, water cannon, 30 times 4, 120 damage, an easy wipe of almost any Pokemon, and I win. And my friends immediately would be wondering, where'd you get the Gabumon? And you say, I can't tell you. And then you move on. And that's really how that works. So Gabumon, I'm going to go ahead and add it to your deck. You want to win, don't you? I thought you did. Alright, so Gabumon would fit in right there. And of course, we do have the impressive, yes, we have Gamamon, and Gamamon is, of course, very similar in style and use. As you can see, yes, there is a nice, perfectly newly designed Pokemon card there. And, of course, the back, plain as day. And, of course, Gamamon is very perfectly used with Vanillux this time. And how does it work with Vanillux? I think... Oh, yes, I just remembered. Sorry. It's hard to read upside down sometimes. Don't worry about looking at the attacks. As you can see, fire, grass, electric types right here. It's good against all of them. And as you can see, this red indication means it can't be damaged by anything. So this is a perfect card. It actually works with Vanillix because it balances the Slippery Souls Pokemon ability here. Not only does Slippery Souls allow you to, exchange Pokemon from your bench and active slot, but if you do activate Slippery Souls, you can go ahead and play Gamamon, and now Gamamon will allow you to instantly deal 20 damage to the active Pokemon, and then place Gamamon back in your hand. So you can actually use Gamamon's, attack every time you activate Slippery Souls, which is great. So I'm gonna go ahead and place that there. I thought so. And the last one I have is Patamon. Now, Patamon is, it's one of the secret rares. Of course, the secret rares in the new set they are not hollow foil, full art, reverse hollow, anything like that. Like I said, they wanted to, yes, as you can see, it is grass type immune, which is great for a water type. And of course, fire, grass, and electric, it is super effective against the attacks. Once again, I'll explain that to you. The wings here on Patamon allow it to create what was that? Oh yes, since it does have the wings, it allows the fly ability to all of your Pokemon. So let me go ahead and add that to your deck. I want to go ahead and draw your attention to your Wailord. Do you see that retreat cost? Quite hefty. It is 4 energies to retreat. So all you have to do is place Patamon down, and his wing attack, levitate if you will allow you a free retreat cost to all of your Pokemon. So it is perfectly usable for your Wailord deck here. I think if you're wise enough, that is, these 3 cards to your deck, this will go from 0 to hero, some would say, and I think might become one of the best decks in the current rotation. And I think you would even impress a lot of your friends with a currently unreleased set in your hand. What do you say? I thought you looked like the wise type. That's perfect. All right, no need to think about that anymore. So like I said, let's get you just a bit of a makeover here and get you some proper dice, sleeves, and a nice deck box. Of course, that comes with, at extra cost, that is coins, damage counters, status condition markers, and so on and so forth. But I think you will be quite impressed once we are all said and done. Alright, so let's go ahead and get your deck box all figured out and squared away here. Of course. And that is strange how you have a base set 2 energy there. I don't think that meets regulations of TCG play, but at the end of the day, who am I to judge? So, your unreleased cards here. Would you like a premier type deck box? We do have multiples, including this jet black. We have a nice cerulean blue. We also have midnight purple, crisp white, it looks like, brilliant orange. I can also offer you slightly cheaper versions of white, green. I also have a clear and some other colors of the more economy boxes. What do you say? I think a card deck that has unreleased cards deserves a bit of prestige, don't you think? I thought so. Blue, alright, you do have a water deck after all. Perfect. I do enjoy a customer who allows me to make my expert suggestions. So this deck box is quite hard wearing and will expertly protect your cards. This deck box is complete complete with a dice compartment here. It also has a nice clasp on the front with a nice slot for a fully sleeved 60 card deck, and has room for either a nice toy or other peripherals that you like as a good luck charm perhaps, or just additional cards. So we will get those all squared away for you there. And next up we need to pick out your sleeves. So allow me to get my box here. Is there any particular color that you are interested in? We have wonderful, like I said, midnight purples. We have nice forest green. We have a wave cap, white. A nice black. And I think we have some other colors down here, or particular set sleeves. Is there anything like that that you would like? You'll take the white. Wonderful choice. I think blue and white is a perfect decision for a deck such as this one. All right, and next up we do have our decision on our other pieces of our deck. All right, so if I can just move these aside, I can get everything up close and easily viewable for you. Perfect. Okay, so we have a few options here. We have a lot of dice here. As you can see, these dice come in a variety of sizes and number allocations. Of course, this one goes all the way up to 20. And we have 8-sided dice, your 3-side, 6-sided, and a lot in between. So these dice are nice because you can designate, of course, like if you get a 13, that means 130 damage. So they can show a lot of damage without the need for an abundance of damage counters on your Pokemon. So if we have damage counters such as these, we have many options for colors. We have a nice kind of burnt orange. We have a bit of a darker blue, perhaps to contrast the kind of light colored blue there. Or we have a lighter colored blue that I must say does match quite nicely and does sort of contrast with your white there just a bit. We also have colors if you're a bit of a abomination. We have colors like green or purple or magenta, or even a mixture of that burnt orange or blue if you would not like to match or anything like that. So what color of dice would you like to choose? Of course, I can open these up for you and give you a closer look. Would you like to see the darker blue or the lighter blue? Lighter blue, okay, that's perfect. Just give me one moment. All right. Perfect. Now, as you can see, we have a very nice set here of very ocean blue, if not even slightly, I wouldn't quite say turquoise, but they are very light. They have that nice golden inset of numbers. And if you would allow me, I think they would sound quite nice if you have perhaps a wooden table, or even a table that's a bit of a plastic. A nice felt would sound amazing with these. And we have of course, a wide variety of number designations here. So you wouldn't really run out of damage counters or have a need to add a overabundance of damage counters either. Of course, you would want to be able to see your Pokemon cards in plain view and really enjoy that hollow foil. So these larger numbered damage counters would really allow you to save space on the actual card. So what do you say? Is this a type of damage counter that you would be interested in? Is this color suitable for you? Perfect. All right, well, let's go ahead and get that placed in your deck box. Nice and quiet, of course. And we have just a bit more room for your upcoming coin. Now for your coin, we have multiple options. We have a nice metallic type coin. We have your oversized jumbo coin. We have smaller traditional TCG plastic coins, and the old school style even smaller than that. So is there a particular style that you would like? If you again will allow me to sell you briefly on these, I think this Team Plasma holofoil coin, of course it does have the official Pokemon company logo there, but this plastic pristine Team Plasma edition coin, I think would, if I can be so bold, fit swimmingly with your Whale Lord deck, especially since you do have those Team Plasma era cards in there, such as that Team Plasma Ball and some of those Team Plasma Pokemon trainer cards, even that Team Plasma Seismitoad that we did remove from the deck. Of course, you always have the option of placing it back in the deck, but I think this would fit wonderfully with that deck. Perfect. I knew you would make the wise decision. And last but not least, we do need to go ahead and, if I can suggest once again, get you a nice set of status conditions. These are brand new in the packaging, and they offer a burn or poison damage marker there, and allows you to not worry or, mess around with forgetting if you are poisoned or burned, which is quite nice, especially when you are going to be playing in very standard format tournaments or anything like that with this legal deck here. So I'll go ahead and place that right there. So we have those nice and neat. We are done with the peripherals, and it is time for your card sleeves. So let's go ahead and get you all nicely squared away and sleeved up. All right, and we have our wonderful sleeves here. They do have a bit of texture on the back that allow a non-slip grip and just quick overall play. Of course, you will be winning a lot of matches here with this deck, so it is wise to prepare to quickly grab cards and boast to your friends. Of course, your Patamon, and perfectly sleeved there, even with that original sleeve on the card. You just have double protection here, especially for your Gamamon. Perfect. I am so happy that we finally found a home for these highly sought after and unreleased cards. Of course, not to mean that they've been in the store for several decades or anything like that, but just, it's, how would I put this? Sometimes difficult to find someone wise enough to appreciate the rarity and overall power of cards like those. So it's quite refreshing to meet someone who understands true value when they see it. Oh, that's right, I did forget to mention the price, but unfortunately they are now sleeved, which, if you read the fine print here at my particular desk, of course don't bother asking anyone else in the store, but the fine print here at the modification desk is, well, reads as follows. Any card sleeved or in a similar type containment is hereby non-refundable and confirmed for purchase. So, of course, like I said, no need to strain your eyes trying to read such things. I can simply read them to you. But someone like you, of course, I'm sure does have the coin necessary to purchase such expensive and rare cards, such as those 3 Pokémon unreleased cards there. So the clerk at the front desk over there will let you know the final price of those 3 cards, and of course your deck box, damage counters, coin, sleeves, and status condition markers. But of course, I know that it will be well worth it once the wins start piling up. Of course, even without those additional cards, this deck was so good already. You seem to really know your stuff and have quite the knack for creating very competitive decks. So I must suggest that once you've gotten these home, but this is the most important part, before you've actually played or even shown this deck to anyone else, I suggest that once you have safely gotten this deck home and in a safe place, you come back and I perhaps sell you some additional decks or cards or really anything, because being so unaware of the Pokemon card game, you have so much to learn and so much to buy. So I can't suggest that enough. Once again, and very important, before you play this deck or show it to anyone. And let me grab a few additional sleeves. Alright, we've got some more sleeves here, and we are entering the home stretch of your sleeving process here. And of course we will save one of your Wailords for the front, that way you can see that card once you open up your deck to play. And your Wailmer in there. Alright. And it looks as though we are down to the final stack here. Of course, this TCG Shop, like I said, that other desk over there specializes in building custom decks from the ground up. They are complete with suggestions on where to start. You can bring in just an idea of what your favorite Pokemon is, or theme, or battle style, anything really, and they can build you a deck. Of course, the salesman who works that desk is quite irritating and just doesn't operate in the same manner as I do. So I don't always enjoy my shifts with him, but That's why we work at separate desks, of course, and offer separate services. As you've seen, I'm the one you bring your decks to if they are pre-constructed or just need a bit of touching up. And I provide you with said service with a smile. Of course. All right, there we are. And your Whalmer perfectly in the front. And we have our holding tray at the bottom. And our final finishing touches. And of course your measly plasma freeze deck box that you came in with. As you can see, now you have a fully complete, listen to that sound, there is nothing better than an expensive but complete and satisfying deck box. Nothing sounds better if you ask me. So once again, the price here is locked in. You can take this deck box to the front desk. Of course, please do not exclaim or, anything else when you hear the price. It is just part of the experience, and I think it will be well worth it once you start to win your matches. So I thank you so much for coming in and allowing me to introduce you to how things work in the Pokemon TCG game. And please, good luck, and do come back anytime. I mean anytime. And I will sell you, show you many other things. Excellent. So please stop by the front desk and have a wonderful night.